Now on Spectrum News 1, the survivors of two crimes go to the State House pushing for change. Why they say some people who are out of prison need closer monitoring. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Imani Payne. A look at that, plus an annual tradition in Cleveland. And later, leaders in one Ohio city are looking to next year's Final Four, what it means for that part of the tournament to come to Columbus. Some lawmakers are looking to make changes to Ohio's post-release monitoring system. A bill in the State House would increase oversight of certain offenders and require faster alerts to law enforcement. Our Javari Burnett taking a closer look at how the bill aims to improve public safety.
If a system failure made it possible for
Spectrum News.
Ohio already changed how it sentences serious offenders under the Reagan-Tokes law, allowing for longer prison terms in certain cases. Meantime, a judge set a September 21st trial date for the man accused of killing Herringer. And today is the last day to register to vote in the May 5th primary. If you're not already registered, you can go to the Ohio Secretary of State's website to register. You can also go to your local county board of elections. Those offices will be open until 9 tonight for registration. Early in-person voting starts tomorrow, and so does absentee voting by mail. County boards of elections will be open from 8 to 5 for you to cast ballots. Early in-person voting continues until Sunday, May 3rd. Again, primary election day is May 5th. The general election is happening November 3rd. It's the Monday after Easter, and in Northeast Ohio, that means crowds of people celebrating Dingus Day. The event is in its 16th year there and sees thousands celebrate in the Gordon Arts District. Our Jack Burney joining us now. So Jack, looks like a lot of fun out there. Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, Imani, it's a polka party here in Gordon Square in Cleveland, and the easiest way and the most simple way I could describe Dingus, there's actually a Polish couple tying the knot and getting married here on the main stage. It's Dingus Day. It's a lot of fun here in Cleveland, people celebrating the Polish heritage that so many people have here in Northeast Ohio.
All right, congratulations to that happy couple. Our Jack Burney reporting for us. Jack, thank you so much. The conflict in Iran continues to make an impact on national average gas prices, but a solution could be coming. The action some OPEC Plus nations are taking. Voters in Georgia will decide tomorrow on a successor for former Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Those up for the spot include Republican Clay Fuller and Democrat Sean Harris. Fuller supports the fighting in Iran, while Harris calls it a war of choice. The Northwest Georgia district is heavily conservative. Democrats are watching to see if the election could be an indicator for other races. Greene was one of President Donald Trump's strongest supporters until she resigned her seat and became a Trump critic. The winner will complete Greene's term, but both say they'll also run again in November. Continuing to follow the impacts of the war in Iran, oil prices rose again over the weekend after the president threatened Iran's infrastructure. On social media, he's calling on Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz by Tuesday. Following the post, the price of Brent crude oil jumped to over $114 a barrel. The last time prices rose above $115 was in 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine. Speaking to ABC's This Week, Republican Congressman from Ohio and member of the Armed Services Committee, Mike Turner, says while it's important for the Strait of Hormuz to stay open, it's more important that Iran's nuclear capabilities are diminished.
You're seeing Iran's ability to be able to project force, their ability to be the state sponsor of terrorism, their ability to hurt our allies in the United States to be diminished, and there's certainly their ability to continue to pursue what they were on the verge of being able to become a nuclear power stopped. That is incredibly important.
Sunday, a spokesperson for the Iranian president posted to social media that the waterway can only reopen if some transit revenues are set aside to compensate Iran for war damage. The globe's leading oil producers have agreed to ramp up production beginning next month. OPEC members signing off on an output hike to 206,000 barrels a day amid pressure on the global markets. Still, it's unclear how effective this will be at lowering prices. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed for nearly all ships. And taking a look at gas prices here in the U.S. today, the average for a gallon, according to AAA, now up to $4.12, a 38% increase from before the war and up 80 cents from 1 month ago. And let's take a look at gas prices here in Ohio. Statewide, you can expect to pay about $3.75 for a gallon of gas. That's lower than this time last week. In the Cleveland area, the average price is $3.81. In and around our capital city, prices are averaging $3.80 per gallon. And in the Cincinnati area, you can expect to pay around $3.73 per gallon. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon is warning investors about the potential impact of the Iran war on the U.S. economy. In his annual letter to shareholders, he says the U.S. economy started the year out strong with President Trump's tax cuts and deregulation agenda, which have helped shield the country from global economic issues so far. But there will eventually be a tipping point. He also said the risk of persistent oil price jumps from the war could alter the global supply chain, similar to what happened during the pandemic, creating a ripple effect throughout the U.S. stock market. On the upside, he says the One Big Beautiful Bill is expected to boost America's GDP by about 1%. He also says massive spending on AI is helping drive productivity. Savannah Guthrie is back on the Today Show after more than 2 months away. She took a leave of absence to search for her missing mother, and her return has been one of the most anticipated moments in morning TV. Spectrum's Katie Streit dives into the latest on Savannah and her family's journey.
And it is good to be home.
Going beyond the far side of the moon. Up next, what astronauts are hoping to discover as they go around the moon today. It's time for today's Sports Minute. A new champion of college basketball will be crowned tonight. Michigan and UConn will meet in Indianapolis with the national championship on the line. The Huskies are looking for their third title in 4 years, while the Wolverines are seeking their first since 1989. Both teams are coming off convincing Final Four wins. Michigan defeated Arizona 91-73, and UConn beat Illinois 71-62. Tip-off is set for 8:50. And turning to women's college basketball, where the UCLA Bruins cut down the nets. The Bruins beat South Carolina in dominating fashion Sunday, 79-51. This marks the team's first national championship in program history. UCLA is the first women's Big Ten team to win the national title since Purdue won in 1999. It also denied South Carolina from winning its third national title in the last 5 seasons. Today, a sellout crowd is welcoming the Tampa Bay Rays back to their home after a year and a half. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida underwent major repairs after Hurricane Milton ripped the roof off in October of 2024. The repairs include a new roof, new turf, and new clay in the infield. Fans will also see improved dining and seating areas, video boards, club spaces, and suites. Nearly $60 million was spent to replace the roof and rebuild.
Destination Space presented by Florida's Space Coast.
Right now, the astronauts of Artemis II are at the moon. The crew is making history, traveling farther into space than anyone else in human history. Our space expert, Jeremy Hume, is at the Kennedy Space Center with what the astronauts are seeing during today's lunar flyby.
After launching from here at the Kennedy Space Center on Wednesday,
It's a year away, but the preparations are already happening for a major sports event in our state. Straight ahead, how one city is preparing to welcome the NCAA Women's Final Four. I'm Imani Payne, and here's your Spectrum News in 90. A local business leader has died after a fire in Upper Arlington. Firefighters say 43-year-old Matthew Smith died early Sunday morning. Investigators say a woman and 3 children did make it out of the home. Firefighters say this was an accident, but haven't said any more about a possible cause. A post on Facebook announced Matthew's death, calling him a devoted husband and a father. The deadline to register to vote in the May 5th primary election is today. Early in-person voting begins tomorrow. voters will get to decide on the nominees for the next governor of Ohio. And for U.S. Senator, you can register online, by mail, or in person at county boards of elections. To register online, you'll need your Ohio driver's license or state ID number, your current address, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. If you miss this deadline, you can register to vote by October 5th for the November 3rd general election. And the Ohio State Highway Patrol begins its distracted driving enforcement period today. It's an initiative with members of the 6 State Trooper Project. The enforcement period will last through next Monday. It also includes state police from Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. And that's your Spectrum News in 90. Happening today, Columbus City Council is holding a hearing to take another step towards a pro-women's soccer team in the city. Council members announced their plans Friday to put together a bid for an expansion team in the National Women's Soccer League. The team would play at Scott's Miracle Grove Field, where the Crew plays. To help pay for this, the city would collect a 2% surcharge on ticketed events at Scott's Miracle Grove Field. If Columbus gets a team, it'll start playing in 2028. With this year's Women's Final Four in the books, Columbus is looking ahead to next year. The games return to Ohio's capital city in 2027. From community watch parties to large-scale planning efforts, local leaders say the city is getting ready to showcase its passion for women's sports. Our Cassidy Wilson shows us how that preparation is taking shape.
While the Final Four was held in Phoenix, Cassidy Wilson, Spectrum News.
Let's take a look at some of this midday's top health headlines. Most states are extending the window for RSV immunizations. Shots for infants and toddlers will now be available through the end of April as the virus lingers later than usual. RSV typically follows a fall to spring pattern, but federal data shows positivity rates are significantly higher than this time last year. The extension means providers can keep offering protection for a longer period. And while it's unclear why the virus is sticking around, doctors say continued access to immunization could make a real difference. A new study shows fewer pregnant women in emergency rooms have been taking acetaminophen. That's the generic name for Tylenol. The research in the journal The Lancet follows President Donald Trump's questionable claim that it's linked to autism. Most experts see no such connection. Major medical associations say it's the safest over-the-counter pain and fever reliever during pregnancy. A new study reveals that reputable health groups are unintentionally funding medical misinformation. Researchers at Yale University found that health and government organizations accounted for more than 10% of ad revenue on websites promoting misinformation. Between 2021 and 2024, millions of dollars in ad spending landed on unreliable sites, often inadvertently. Groups say that's because automated programs can place credible ads next to harmful content. The study warns these ad placements can legitimize false claims and diminish public trust in government health agencies. It's a popular vacation spot for many, and now there's a new way to see New York City. Roger Clark shows us how you can get a bird's eye view of Times Square.
Typically, the world associates one Times Square with this big night.
Some college students say they're struggling to land internships. A March rebound in job growth follows a large drop in February. Internship struggles might go further back, though. Indeed reports postings were down in 2025. Career site Handshake says applications per internship nearly doubled between 2024 and last year. ZipRecruiter says graduates with work experience are much more likely to get jobs than those without it. The Writers Guild of America says it reached a tentative deal with Hollywood studios. Variety says the agreement includes a healthcare funding boost and will last 4 years instead of the usual 3. Union members still need to approve the plan. In 2023, the Writers Guild went on a strike that lasted an entire summer, delaying production schedules for months. More than 700,000 sauté pans are being recalled over safety concerns. The Granite Stone Diamond Pro Blue pans are sold nationwide at Costco, Walmart, and Amazon. Emis Han & Sons say a metal cap connecting the handle to the pan can fall off when heated, posing a serious risk for burns. Nearly 100 incidents have been reported. The company says to stop using the pans and reach out for a refund. It's a place that draws millions of tourists each year, Hollywood. But keeping the area safe is proving to be a challenge. Our Ray Williams shows us the new tool one organization is using to keep tourists safe.
Hollywood is home to more than 73,000 residents, and for Blake, it's been his neighborhood for years. It was the place he'd longed to live in. Hollywood, the show must go on, but residents and officials wanting to do that safely.
Making an impact through music. Ahead, how an open mic night is changing the lives of people with autism and what it means to one Ohio family. Easter is celebrated by Christians around the world, but for Orthodox Christians, yesterday marked Palm Sunday. Palestinian Orthodox Christians gathered at a Greek Orthodox church in Gaza City. It was the first since a ceasefire was reached in October. Worshippers lit candles and a choir sang during a service which marks Jesus entering Jerusalem before his crucifixion. Easter is this coming Sunday in the Orthodox faith. Elsewhere, Jerusalem's holiest places sat near empty yesterday as the war in Iran disrupted Passover and Easter. Israel capped gatherings in the city at 50 people and closed the Western Wall to worshippers. An Easter tradition at the White House continues. Here's a look at this year's White House Easter egg roll. In addition to rolling eggs across the White House lawn, kids could take part in some egg decorating. They also had a chance to spend some time in the reading nook on the South Lawn. While many guests at the event are friends and family of White House and administration staff, there is an open lottery for the event that allows the public to try and get some of those. An Ohio family is using music and community to build confidence in people with autism. It's a recipe they say helped their son and led them on a journey to help others. Spectrum News 1 anchor Alexa Maslowski reports.
Right.
That was Alexa Maslowski reporting. The open mic is again the second Sunday of each month at Gatsby's Bar and Grill in Gahanna. Gwen says you don't have to be neurodiverse to perform. It is truly open to all. That'll do it for me this afternoon. Your evening on Spectrum News 1 is next with more of your top stories from across the state, plus a look at that all-important Weather on the One's forecast. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Clock. This check of the time presented by Spectrum.
I'm Imani Payne, and here's your Spectrum News in 90. A local business leader has died after a fire in Upper Arlington. Firefighters say 43-year-old Matthew Smith died early Sunday morning. Investigators say a woman and 3 children did make it out of the home. Firefighters say this was an accident, but haven't said any more about a possible cause. A post on Facebook announced Matthew's death, calling him a devoted husband and a father. The deadline to register to vote in the May 5th primary election is today. Early in-person voting begins tomorrow. Voters will get to decide on the nominees for the next governor of Ohio and for U.S. Senator. You can register online, by mail, or in person at county boards of elections. To register online, you'll need your Ohio driver's license or state ID number, your current address, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. If you miss this deadline, you can register to vote by October 5th for the November 3rd general election. And the Ohio State Highway Patrol begins its distracted driving enforcement period today. It's an initiative with members of the 6 State Trooper Project. The enforcement period will last through next Monday. It also includes state police from Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. And that's your Spectrum News in 90.